Mr. Man is infatuated with these chickens. Made our brooder box bigger, and he just loves to just stare at them. And speaking of chickens, I've decided to tear the chicken coop back apart. And I had all 4 walls up. Everything was going great. We were looking for some sort of a flooring to do. We went and found a 4-foot wide sheet of vinyl. We got a super good deal on it. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and just cut the nails, set these walls back apart, put this sheet of vinyl on the ground, and then set the walls right on top of it. The walls will actually hold it down. So I think that's gonna be the easiest fix. I wanna concentrate on doing that today. We have like 50-mile-an-hour gusts coming into the valley here, and I really wanna get this built. All right, I got all the walls off. Super easy. I just took 2 claw hammers, tucked up one underneath of the wall, and then pried it up a little bit and slipped like a real thin metal cutting blade in the Sawzall. Ripped through the nails, no problem. So here's our sheet of vinyl. That's what it looks like. This was like 52 cents a square foot at Home Depot or Lowe's. I can't remember which one we bought it. All I'm gonna do is basically just tack all the corners. It's supposed to be 4 foot wide, but it's a little bit bigger. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tack this corner, which is nice and square, to the edge of the plywood, and I'm just gonna use one of these plastic caps that we use for the roofing, and I'm gonna take off the plastic part and just use the nail. It's a nice, really thin head, and they won't rust or anything, so it works out really nice. So what I'm gonna do is just nail down this corner, stretch it out, nail the end, cut it to length, and then cut the excess off for the width, and then we'll set the walls back on top of here, and then we'll be back to where we started, but the flooring will be underneath the walls, which will hold it down, and I really think it's gonna be a game changer for us. We've used those peel and stick vinyl squares. They're like 12 inches by 12 inches, and what happens over time is the water gets in the seam and then it peels that vinyl up. So I think having a whole sheet here is really going to be the trick. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, put the walls back on, nail them back down the same way with my framing gun, and then we'll start putting the walls, we'll start putting the roof up, and then we're going to use just some 1x4, and we're going to screw metal sheets on top of that to try to make it as lightweight as possible. And like I said, I'm going to put wheels on this, and then we're going to create something. I'm trying to figure out how to do it right now, that I can just use the tractor, pick up one end, and just kind of wheel it around, because it's going to be a little heavier than Tanya and I can just pick up and wheel around, I think. But time will tell. Let's see what happens when we get it all built. But I think it's going to be a little bit too heavy. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on that, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like with the walls back on. All right, we're back to where we started. I'm gonna go ahead and just start laying out the roof right now and get my sheets all, or my 2x4s all cut up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, roof is on. Well, the framework anyway. I picked up some roofing screws with little rubber gaskets on them with a washer, and we're just going to use those, screw them down every third rib that has an indentation, That's where it's gonna touch that 1x4. So I'll screw that down. We'll overlap the next sheet, screw it down right where the overlap is, and then that sheet will hold that sheet down. And we'll just throw all 4 of these pieces up on the roof. That's why we made it 4 foot by 8 foot, so that these 2 foot sheets would work perfectly on there. 4 of them, I just cut them to 64.5, and we'll just throw them up there, and then we'll wrap some trim around the sides and the top. All right, so I got the tin on. The roof worked out perfect. Now I'm gonna put this drip edge. This is the only galvanized drip edge I could find. It's not quite big enough. It covers up the roof and those boards that I laid across that the roof sits on, but I wish it was a little bit bigger, but we'll make it work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold it flush, and what I typically would do is go up this fascia board and make like a notch, and then make another bend to just the thickness of the metal. But I think I'm just gonna leave this drip edge whole. I think it looks kind of cool being 1.5 inches thick. And so I'm just gonna line up this drip edge with the bottom of the panel. And I'll come up here and then mark the back side of this. So I don't know if you can see that, there's my mark. Then I'm gonna go cut this and put a bend in it so that it will bend behind that front piece of drip edge and kind of lock that corner in, and then I'll screw everything together. All right, so now we'll put this underneath on the top up here. It goes up underneath there, and then it goes back behind the face of this. So it's a little tricky trying to get it to start. There we go. All right, the roof is on. Looks pretty good. I got all the screws put in, all the trim put on. And so next what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump on our nesting boxes. A nesting box should be about 12 inches by 12 inches. Our last chicken coop, Tanya said the nesting boxes were too high and she had to like get on her tippy toes to get in there. And so she said her only request is that the nesting boxes are not as high as they were last time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on started on making that. I just have to figure out a little design, how to make them strong. And then basically we can throw our roosts in here. We're gonna have the roost set here and here, probably more like one in the back high and then one a little bit lower. And we'll probably put a 2x4 flat because chickens like to sleep flat-footed. So we'll probably get that set up, and then we can side it, paint it, and get the girls out on some fresh grass. Tiny's been feeding them little pieces of grass and bugs and crickets and stuff, and they're doing really good, and they are ready to go. It's like super windy today, so we just have the plants sitting out here, but they basically have their feathers, and so in the next probably week or two we could put them outside. So we got to get our Premier One netting coming. Once we get that, we can make a little perimeter for them and get them outside. That'll be cool for them to be outside and having fun. Just gotta keep Ryder away from them. He really wants to eat them all, so we'll have to figure that out. All right, so here is the bottom of our nesting box, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put that same linoleum on the bottom of the nesting box. That way, you know, they usually keep the nesting boxes pretty clean, but just in case, I think it'd be cool just to have a little bit of that linoleum in here. So we have a little scrap chunk left. I think it'll be perfect. So we'll put that on there, but we'll throw this in right now and nail it down. So basically it just slips right into these 2x4s. Just need a little gentle persuasion. So what we did is we took a piece of that drip cap for the roof and we just put it down here, which covers up the linoleum edge and then kind of seals it off. It's going to be really cool. I think it looks great. And this will be our access door when we need to clean the coop out, so it won't be open all the time, but at least it'll be nice and waterproof. All right, we got it all sighted. Tanya's finishing up the paint right now. This is the color we chose. This will be the top for the nesting box. That's the door. And then all we have to do now is just trim everything out, but here's the nesting boxes. We got that linoleum. This will be just a cleat so we can keep some wood shavings in here. These are all 13.5 by 15 inches by 12 inches tall at the low side here, and then 17 inches at the high side. So that should be plenty of room for the chicks and the ladies. And we got a couple of little wrinkles in that linoleum, but it's all going to be wood shavings. And now we just have to get our trim paint color. We're not exactly sure. We're thinking we're going to do white. So I think that'll look pretty cool. But I do have some tires that we got. These are 0-turn lawnmower tires with a 3/4 inch axle. So I'm going to get some bolts and I'm going to see if I can put them on those legs. I don't know if it's going to be strong enough or not, but we're going to try. And then I got to figure out some way to put a Hitch receiver on the front of this, and that way I could use the tractor. I'm going to put a ball on the tip of my fork on the tractor and use the tractor to move this thing around because it's too heavy for Tanya and I to move. But turned out really nice. We'll show you guys when we're all wrapped up, but we're going to paint the wood white, and then we're going to put corner trim on here and then trim out the door and then all the corners, and then we're going to make some windows. But all in all, it turned out really nice. It's solid. I mean, these nesting boxes are really strong. All right, we got our legs trimmed off, our bolts cut to length. We're gonna go ahead and throw these 0-turn tires on. I wanna make sure that I have this grease cert pointed out. And when you buy this kit online, it comes with a whole bunch of reducers. If you had like a 3/8 axle, you could use that. You could swap out these 3/4 ones for different sizes. They also have in between. They have a 3/4. They have a half and a 3/8, I think. And it also comes with a bunch of these little plastic pieces. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 2 of these here just to give me a little bit of space between the leg and the tire. Then we're going to run this on here, and then we're going to put a metal gasket on there, or washer, and then I'm going to go ahead and lock this down with 2 of these 3/4 inch nuts.
And the reason I'm doing that is just so I can create like a lock washer, so I can tighten these down and they won't slip back off. And so the way that I had it designed was they would just kind of come about that far, and then there's the tire put together. I'll do the exact same thing for the other side, and then we'll bolt these brackets on to the legs to give it a little bit more strength for that axle to ride on. And then I think we could take that farm jack down and let's see if this coop falls over or if it rolls.
All right, moment of truth. Tires are bolted on. I locked those nuts down, repair a couple pairs of channel locks. All the axles are on. I went ahead and screwed that bracket onto the inside to see if that will help hold up the weight. And then all that's left to do is to let this farm jack down. So here we go. All right. It's down. Look okay. Let's see if it'll roll. Looks pretty good. And there's not a lot of play. All right. Okay, so that's that done. Whew. That looks like it works pretty good. There's a little bit of cant to the tire. We'll just have to keep an eye on that and see how that goes. We might have to take and put a brace going up from the axle to the coop in the middle, so I can kind of see there's a little bit of a flex. That's kind of what I was worried about. Instead of having that 1/2-inch galvanized pipe, would have worked a little bit better. But we'll just have to see how it works and go from there. But all in all, pretty happy with that. So I'll jump on. I have all my trim done for the coop. Have it all painted. And just gotta trim it out and put the windows together and do a little bit of soffit, and then we'll be ready to send it outside. So I'll get on that now. I just wanted to show you guys how we're doing our windows. We picked up this piece of, it's a double pack of plexiglass. We got it on Amazon. It's 2 foot by 1 foot. And Tanya wanted to have the windows go up and down like this. And it wasn't very expensive. So for like 10 bucks, we're making a window that we can put in here. And the way we're doing it is I have a piece of trim that I took a rabbet out of the back, and basically the glass will just slip down into it. So the glass is just like a 1/2 inch bigger than the actual opening. And then I just ran my trim just as the opening is. And then it creates like a perfect little window for the chicken coop. I thought it turned out pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the second window, and then we'll jump on some more trim. All right, well, we're back out working on the chicken coop. I have it just about ready. The only thing I'm trying to figure out is how to get some sort of a hitch on there that I could use the tractor for. So what I did is I picked up some of this. It's 3/16 stock, flat stock, and I'm gonna weld that hitch, it's a trailer hitch, to this flat stock, and then I'm gonna bolt it on the front of the coop in the center, and I'm gonna run a support bar all the way down the bottom of that and lock it into all the floor joists. And I'm hoping that that'll be strong enough that when the tractor, I use the tractor to pick it up, that it will be able to pull this around. So I have the back tires pretty well stabilized now. I'll show you how I added a block to that, but pretty much we got
barn swallows. I don't know if you can see that. Pretty much I think that that's going to be strong enough to bolt that to the framework of the chicken coop and then be able to move it around. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a weld on that, and then we'll bolt it on the coop. This little welder just does such a great job welding. So I'll go ahead and weld the other side, weld it all the way around, and then we'll throw it in the coop. All right, we got this all welded up. Turned out really cool. And so basically what we're going to do is we're just going to bolt this to the bottom side of the coop. I'm going to run, because this hitch is hollow in the center here, I'm going to run a 2x. I'm going to fasten it to this with some screws, and then I'm going to through bolt with some nice sized lags through like 3 or 4 of the floor joists in here, and that way this is like completely locked in with this metal bracket along the front here, and then a kicker that runs all the way back. And I'm hoping that that's going to give it enough strength, and I don't have to weld another piece of steel and run it through there, which I could do if I wanted to. So I'll just have to see how that feels, and then we'll go ahead and just mount this on, and then really there's nothing left but to grab the tractor and pick it up and see if it'll go. So that'll be fun. All right, we're underneath the coop. And I'm gonna go ahead, you can kind of see there's the hitch that we made. And then I'm gonna take this 2x and we are gonna run it so that it hits 4 of these joists, and we're gonna put lags in there. We'll go ahead and see if we can screw this on. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that to the first, second, third, and fourth one, and then we'll pick it up with the tractor and see how it does.
I don't know, I'm so nervous. Hold on. I feel like these ones are okay now, but this one needs to... No, these ones need to come this way too. This is stressful.
The only thing I'm really worried about is that 2x4, but I don't think that one in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Oh man.
Well, all right, guys, the chicken coop is officially done. Like you saw, we pulled it out of the barn. The hitch we made and the axle worked great. The tractor was able to pull it down here, no problems at all.
And I just kind of wanted to walk around and talk about it. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is scrap. We did have to buy some various parts for it, but these windows are just pieces of plexiglass, and they're just 12 inches by 24 inches, and we bought 2 of them online for like 20 bucks. And I just used siding and just made a frame for them to get into, and then we caulked them in. Like you see, we have a nesting box here. We went with 6 individual size nesting boxes for them. We have a little eye hook here to hold it up while we gather eggs. We put linoleum down everywhere on the floor that we could. The nesting boxes usually don't get too bad, but inside the coop's really going to help out. So that's the front of the coop here. Walk around to this side. Here's the door to let the chickens out, and we basically just have a little ramp you would just use for any chicken coop, but it just sits on these brackets, and I put a couple of holes through here, and basically every time we move it around, we're just going to drop a couple pins in here, and that will hold the ladder for them to come in and out, and then we could just remove it. We have another eye hook over here to hold this door open for the girls to go in and out. And then this side is pretty much plain, just a piece of our siding from our barn. And here's the metal roofing that we used. We went with the same stuff we made our garden beds with, and turned out super nice. I picked up some of this drip edge and just ran it on the 3 sides like you guys saw.
So we actually had this latch. We had bought it for a chicken coop we had in Michigan, and we never used it, so we were able to repurpose it on this coop. So here's the inside. We put this linoleum down. We do have some ripples in it, but it's fine. I'm not worried about it at all. We went with the 2 roosts on laying flat, so we did that. Because we did the plexiglass windows, we don't really have like windows that we can open. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually cut part of this out, and we'll put some hinges here, let that fold down, and we'll have some screen stapled on the inside so that during hot days we can keep this open, have really good ventilation. Also, we do have ventilation up at the top here. So where our soffit is, we have some gaps there to let airflow come through. So another thing I wanted to mention, and some of you who are like do construction or anything like that, you'll notice that we have our siding running in different directions. So on this side, it runs up and down the grain, and over here it goes horizontally.
That was done on purpose.
We did that on purpose because we used scraps from our siding, and it helped with waste. We didn't waste very much at all.
Yeah, that's basically a 4x8 sheet that we just basically trimmed down 3 inches off of the side here. And the same thing with this. This is 4 feet wide, and so all I had to do was just cut the angle, throw it on there, and we use that cut out for the door is the actual door. So very minimal scrap at all. Waste, so to speak. So it really turned out really nice.
Yeah. So one of the things is we went to like the Habitat for Humanity Restore, and we found paint for $18 for the gallon. And
the cool thing is this paint this is Tanya's phone, and you can see
it's
that it
almost
is
the
like
exact
a
same color.
perfect match. Let's see if we get it in the sun. It's like a perfect match to her cell phone case, which was totally by accident. Like she said,
it's just one of my favorite colors.
Yeah. So she's like, "Ooh, I like that color," and it turned out to be her phone case.
Yeah, and the white trim paint actually was more expensive for a little tiny quart size than the whole gallon.
And it's all exterior paint, so it should hold up really well.
It was a lot of fun to make, or for me to watch Levi make.
It was fun to build. I mean, really, we used a lot of scrap. You know, we did use some of our 2x4s, but all in all, a lot of this stuff is just cut off pieces from before. So
Yeah.
we just basically had to buy some roofing material
And 2x4s.
and some 2x4s.
The wheels.
The wheels we had to buy, the axle,
hitch. Yeah.
stuff like that.
But other than that, like we really tried to be as frugal with this build as possible. And I think Levi did an amazing job.
It turned out really, really nice. I'm really happy with it.
I'm not gonna lie, it was a little nerve-wracking
Getting it
out of the barn.
Well, you know, like we said before, our barn, we haven't done our final grade yet. So our barn is like 8 inches higher than the driveway. So we had to build like a ramp.
Yeah, no, it was a little nerve-wracking on my part, because the last thing I wanted was for this to tip over.
Oh man,
and,
that'd be
you know,
terrible. But no,
right.
I think they're gonna love it. We're gonna put a little piece of screen on here and do that door like
Tanya talked about.
Yep.
And then we're gonna go ahead and throw the chicks in here. It's really important when you have a new area for them to be a new coop. You have to keep them locked up in there for several days so that they know that that is home, and that they'll know when we do eventually let them out, they know they need to go back up in there to sleep every night. So
yeah, we're gonna bring them out probably today, get that screen up beforehand, and just let them enjoy the area. I wanted to put like a little temporary fencing up,
we just don't have
but we just don't have anything. And we actually ordered some Premier One electric fencing.
Yeah, you guys will see that. It's coming in about 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, and we'll, as soon as we get that, we'll put it up and we'll let them just have a great time enjoying all the grass and bugs and whatever else they may find.
All right, well, let's go grab the chicks and introduce them to their new home.
Yeah. That was fun. I forgot how hard it is to wrangle chickens. All right, take them down to their home.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Ryder wants to murder these.
So we have, we suspended their food, and then we also put the water on a couple of 2x8s, just to get it off so they don't kick shavings into them. The food and water being in the coop is just a temporary thing while we have them locked up, but otherwise their food and water will be outside.
Okay.
There you go.
Well,
This would be a lot easier if Ryder hadn't been out here.
next time we're putting them in the house.
All right. Get them
All right.
used to their new home.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, our fencing came in for the chicken coop, so we are going to get that out and try to learn how to use electric fencing. We're a little nervous about it, but should go well. I think the grass is short enough. We took the mower here a couple days ago and went through before we moved the chicken coop out here, but the chickens are really wanting to get out of that coop, so we just have that little access door. We have a screen covering it so they can't get out, so we are going to try to put like a little perimeter. We have about 200 feet of this fencing, so we're hoping to get like a 50 foot by 50 foot pen set up, so to speak, for them, and then have the chicken coop right in the center. So let's get it out. It's in the truck here, and which I don't have the keys for.
The walk of shame.
All right, got my keys. So I
has 2 boxes. So there's our 200 feet. And we have some corner posts. Show you guys. That up. Electronic. So when you buy one of these kits, it comes with a battery. Comes with a digital tester. These are wires that will clip onto the fence and then connect to the battery. And then this will be
It's a solar panel. Right?
Energizer solar panel. It also comes with a grounding rod that you have to make sure you put in. How cool is that?
That's neat.
So the battery goes in here. On-off switch. This will connect the battery to. Nice.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and then it's off, obviously a solar panel, so it'll charge itself, so we don't have to worry about plugging it in or anything. All right, so let's get this set up. This is not sponsored. We bought this ourselves. We really like this netting. Lots of people use it that we trust. So we're gonna go ahead and set this up and see if Ryder will stay away from the chickens. All right, so it says set the fence up first.
Okay.
And then once you get it up, it's pretty simple. Set the battery, boom, boom, boom.
All right. See how we do setting this up. First time ever.
Good, because I don't know what I'm doing.
So does he put it on the fence, I'm assuming?
It's all electric connected. Instruction. Real easy. Hey.
All right, so we decided that even though Levi did mow, I think it's grown up enough that we feel like we'll just mow the perimeter where the actual electric fencing will go. You know, it's important that you don't have it growing into the fence because otherwise it's not gonna work properly. So he's getting the tractor going and he'll mow, I don't know, kind of a square, and then we'll start getting it up. Wow, man, that worked out perfect.
Wow.
Yeah, it only took about, I don't know, 5 times of rearranging where
Well,
everything
yeah.
was, but
We wanted to get this tree for them to get cover, and then the coop in it, obviously. And then so we're trying to, you know, move it around, but we might have to.
now I know that the tree can be both a good thing and a bad thing. It would give aerial predators a place to sit, but there's trees everywhere. Our goal is to just be around and not leave the chickens unattended so that we can try to limit, right, the loss.
Yeah.
So it's inevitable, we know that, but we will do our best to not lose any chickens. All right, we're gonna open the chickens up for the very first time.
Come on, guys.
Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. In my mind, I thought they were just going to come running out.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're so close.
All right, we're gonna try mealworms.
Come on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at Pearl's the first one on actual ground. Ow!